Roll for Crit presents How to Play Tapestry in 5 minutes or less or more. Tapestry is the civilization game of culture and conquest, designed by Jamie Stegmaier and published by Stonemaier Games. Your goal in Tapestry is to gain the most victory points by the end of your turns. There are a lot of ways to get victory points. Each player begins with a civilization with its own special ability, an income mat, and capital city mat. You'll also have a set of buildings, outposts, and cubes in your color. Buildings are placed at the top of your income mat. One outpost is placed on the hex space matching your capital city's number, and one cube is placed at the start of each track on the board. Once everything is set up, players take their turns one at a time in clockwise order. There are two types of turns in Tapestry, advancement and income. To start the game off, every player must first take an income turn. Income turns will provide you with points and resources among other things. There are 5 steps to an income turn. However, not all 5 steps will trigger every time. In fact, for your very first turn, you'll only carry out one of them. Refer to the 4 tracks at the top of your sheet. The sections uncovered by buildings are the sections you'll receive your income from. For each resource symbol, move your resource markers up 1 space on your resource track. These represent money, workers, food, and culture. This icon means you get to draw 1 tapestry card, while this icon means you get to draw 1 territory hex tile. Tapestry cards go into your own private hand, while hex tiles are kept face up next to you. You'll be able to make use of both of these later on. After the first round of the game, players are free to choose whether they'd like to take an income or advancement turn. However, you will only take 5 income turns over the course of the game. After your 5th, you won't be able to do anything else. We'll go over the other steps of an income turn later. First, let's go over advancement turns. These will make up the majority of your playtime in Tapestry. What you'll need to do is choose one of the 4 tracks on the board: technology, exploration, military, and science, and advance in one of them. You'll do so by paying the cost listed above the next track space you're advancing to and moving your cube into it from the adjacent space it was in previously. This symbol means that you can use any resource type you'd like to pay the cost. Notice that each track is separated into tiers of 3 spaces, and that the cost gets more expensive each time you move into a new one. To spend a resource, simply move it 1 space down on your track. Once you've paid and moved your cube, you'll refer to the symbol or symbols present in the track space you just reached. The primary icons here are called a benefit. You'll receive this benefit as soon as you enter the space. Anything in a gray box is called a bonus. These are optional rewards which require an additional cost of some kind to receive them. If there is a slash in between 2 different rewards, you only get to choose one of them. Once you've finished carrying out your benefit and/or bonus, your turn ends. There are numerous different possible effects across all 4 tracks, so let's go over the major ones. First, look at the exploration track. Most of its effects revolve around the map at the center of the board. A common one is receiving territory tiles, just as you did during your first income turn. This symbol, which shows the icon in full color, means you get to explore. To explore, choose one of the tiles from your collection and place it on the map in an empty space adjacent to a hex with one of your outposts on it. You can orient the tile however you'd like. For each side that has at least 1 terrain type that matches the terrain type of the adjacent hex, you receive 1 victory point. Then you'll also receive a reward according to the icon at the center of the hex, such as a resource or more territory tiles. The military track will depend heavily on how and when you explore. A common benefit of advancing here is the conquer action. To conquer, take one of your outposts and place it on a hex tile adjacent to one that you already have an outpost on. Then roll the 2 conquer dice. You get to choose one of the results and gain it as a reward, such as points or a resource. Each hex featuring one of your standing outposts is considered under your control. If you're adjacent to someone else's hex, you can still attempt to conquer it by moving in with an outpost. Doing so will topple your opponent's outpost to signify that you now have control there, but be careful. There are a handful of trap cards in the Tapestry deck. If another player plays a trap in response to their hex being moved into, they'll retain control over it and the intruder's outpost is toppled instead. In either case, the conquering player still gets to roll the dice for a reward. Once there are 2 outposts on a hex, it can no longer be moved into by any players. The technology track deals heavily with these technology cards. When given the chance to invent one, you take one of the 3 face-up cards, or the top card of the deck, then place it to the side of your city mat next to the row marked with an X. Tech cards will offer rewards during future income turns. Finally, there's the science track. A key benefit of this track is to research by rolling the science die. This allows you to advance your cube in the track indicated by the die result. However, if there's an X printed with the die icon, that means you won't receive the benefit or bonus when advancing this way. There are some rewards that you'll find on all 4 tracks or other cards, such as receiving Tapestry cards, advancing on specified tracks, or even receiving a new civilization. You may come across an icon representing one of the 4 building types on your income mat. If so, take the matching building from the leftmost space of its track and place it somewhere on your capital city mat. Buildings can be placed anywhere here, except for the sections marked with red dots, which are impassable. Placing buildings will give you more rewards during income turns. The first space of each track tier also features a landmark as a bonus reward, as indicated by these large gray circles. If you're the first player to hit one of these spots, no matter how you got there, take the corresponding landmark and place it on your mat like you would a building. Landmarks take up a lot more space and still can't be placed over red dots, but they can extend off of the grid itself if you'd like. If you manage to fill up one of the squares on your mat completely, you receive a bonus resource of your choice. The deeper into the tracks you get, the more powerful and more complicated the benefits and bonuses become, allowing you to experience things from reaching outer space to reaching the AI singularity. Use the icons and your reference sheet to determine exactly what each spot on the track does before moving there. There are also 3 achievements printed on the board that are awarded to players on a first-come, first-served basis. One for completing a track, one for toppling 2 outposts, and one for conquering the island at the center of the board. Each one gives you a number of points immediately and can only be gained once by each player. If you're out of resources or there's nothing left you think you'd like to do on a track, you can opt to take another income turn. If you're the first of your neighbors, meaning the players to your left and right, to take an income turn to start the next era, you receive one or more bonus resources of your choice as indicated at the bottom of the income sheet for that era. Now let's go over all the other steps of the income track that we missed the first time around. First, check your civilization. Some civilizations feature abilities that activate at the start of the income turn. If that's the case with yours, do so now. Once that's finished, you get to play a Tapestry card from your hand, placing it on top of the spot for the next era. Some Tapestry cards have abilities that take effect immediately, while others affect the next era. Read carefully to decide which cards would make the most sense with your strategy. Next, look at any tech cards you have. You can upgrade one tech card by pushing it to the next row. If it moved into the row marked by a circle, activate the effect printed in its circle. If it moved into the row with a square, do the same for its square effect. Note that tech cards have requirements to be met by you or a neighbor before they can be upgraded to the top row. Now you receive victory points according to the visible victory point symbols on your income tracks. These could be points for each tech card you have, each hex you're in control of, or for each row or column on your city mat that you've managed to fill in completely. Sections with red dots in them are considered filled in by default. And finally, receive your income again the same way you did in the first turn. Not all players need to take income turns at the same time, which means that some players could be in different eras on their turns. After a player takes their 5th and final income turn, they count up their points and are no longer involved with the game, even if other players are still going. Keep in mind that you won't carry out every one of these steps on your final turn. Once everyone has finished their final income turn, the game is over. The player with the most points wins. In conclusion, advance, explore, conquer, develop, build. That's Tapestry in a nutshell. Did you get all that?